Bleacher Report just dropped an insane trade for the New York Knicks to acquire Joel Embiid from the Philadelphia 76ers. We're going to take a look at this trade, if it's realistic, and if we would actually do this trade if available. We're also going to look at something suspicious Joel Embiid recently did on his social media account. We're going to break down all of this and so much more today on the Knicks Digest. Things are going crazy right now in Philadelphia. James Harden has openly called Darrel Morey a liar. The Sixers are in shambles, and who knows what's going to happen from a day-to-day basis. Will James Harden be traded? If he is traded, will Joel Embiid request a trade? And if he does, where is he going to go? Well, Bleacher Report looked into this. They cooked up some trade ideas, and they had an insane trade idea for Joel Embiid to go to the New York Knicks. Now, this trade is a little expensive for my taste, but if you look at everything around it, it does work. But would you do it? Let's take a look. Bleacher Report's Zach Buckley gives us the following trade package. He labels it, "The Bockers Make Their Blockbuster." In this trade, the New York Knicks would acquire Joel Embiid. But in order to do that, they would have to give up the following: R.J. Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, Emmanuel Quickley, Quentin Grimes, a 2024 first-round pick, a 2024 first-round pick top 12 protected via the Washington Wizards, a 2025 first-round pick top 4 protected via Milwaukee, and a 2026 first-round pick. I told you before, the trade was gonna be insane. Now, don't get me wrong. This is how you get Joel Embiid, by giving up this many assets. So realistically, I think this is a realistic trade offer if something were to be on the table. If the Sixers had no choice and needed to trade with the New York Knicks, I can realistically see this being one of the offers on the table. However, in my opinion, it's just a little too expensive. Let me explain why. You're giving up R.J. Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, Quentin Grimes, and then Emmanuel Quickley. You're giving up all of those players who are young, developing assets. R.J. Barrett still has a high ceiling. Quentin Grimes still has a high ceiling. Emmanuel Quickley legitimately plays starter-like minutes and can give you starter quality-like production. So you get that. They're getting so much, plus the picks as well too. In my opinion, the only difference that I would do is I would try to save R.J. Barrett and Quentin Grimes from this trade. Maybe including Evan Fournier into this trade. Maybe try to include Julius Randle instead of R.J. Barrett in this trade. Maybe that's how we can make it work. Before you guys kill me, I understand. Some of you guys want to see what Joel Embiid and Julius Randle can do in the front court together. If that's you, cool. That's not me. I don't want to see that front court. I don't think it works. And I don't know how Julius Randle is going to treat that entire situation. His game is predicated on ISO play. When he can't do that anymore, what else is he going to do? Is he going to be a willing facilitator? Is he going to just rebound and pass? What's going to be his main role? What is he going to give you? Is he going to embrace being a third option on a team? I don't know about that, but I know R.J. Barrett will. Why? Because he's already done it comfortably. Didn't argue. Joel Embiid is an MVP-like player. Don't get it wrong. I understand that. And I'm not saying R.J. Barrett is better than him. But what I'm saying is you can't give up every single piece to get one of these megastars because you need to surround these pieces with other talent. I don't know what Joel Embiid, Jalen Brunson, and Julius Randle can do. But here's the thing. I think Jalen Brunson and Joel Embiid would be great. And if we can keep R.J. Barrett and he takes that other leap that we think he can take, if he can take that FIBA experience, apply it to the NBA, and get even better, take the steps that we think he can take, I think him with Joel Embiid and Jalen Brunson could be a formidable threat in the Eastern Conference. I think they're really good. Now listen, I don't know if you can swing it to where you can keep a Quentin Grimes on your team. And if you can't, well, I understand that because it's Joel Embiid we're talking about. But keeping RJ Barrett and Quentin Grimes away from this trade and including everything else that they want, I would love to do it because I think if you keep a core of Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, RJ Barrett, Joel Embiid, maybe you add another player in there. Maybe Josh Hart is in there because you don't trade him away, obviously, right? So you got Josh Hart. And then you got a bench of Dante DiVincenzo, maybe Miles McBride, Jericho Sims off the bench. So you have a couple of other pieces. Obviously, you have to add more pieces now via free agency or convert some of your two-ways into regular contracts to add more depth to your team because I think that would be the only thing hurt in this type of trade. But if you could swing it to keep those two players or even one player in RJ Barrett, I would be more favorable in doing this trade. But if you have to include all of that, I may be hesitant on pulling the trigger on that trade. What about you guys? Would you pull the trigger on this Joel Embiid trade? Again, let me pull it up for you. The Knicks would receive Joel Embiid, and the Philadelphia 76ers would receive RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, Emmanuel Quickley, Quentin Grimes, and a plethora of first-round picks, either from the Knicks or from other picks that they got from other teams that are slightly protected. So that is the trade-off for getting Joel Embiid. Let me know in the comments if you would do this trade, Knicks fans. But also, it's hard not to look at what Bleacher Report's Zach Buckley is stating about the New York Knicks here. If we take a look, Zach Buckley makes an interesting point. For years, the Knicks have been quietly stockpiling picks. I don't know how quietly they've been doing it, but they have been. And they've also been stockpiling prospects to potentially fuel the NBA's next blockbuster deal. An opportunity could be knocking soon. We mentioned James Harden at the top of this video, and that's the reason why we did. Look here what Zach Buckley's stating. With James Harden wanting out of Philly, Joel Embiid might have to think about splitting from the Sixers. That's just speculation for now, but he effectively welcomed postulation when he recently spoke of winning a title in Philly or anywhere else. And even though he walked back on those comments and basically stated after that he wanted to end his run with Philly like a Dirk or Kobe, basically stating to have one team for his entire career, it basically sounded like those rumors were off. But that's only with those things as they were at that point in time. It wasn't when now we have James Harden openly calling Darrel Morey a liar. And Joel Embiid has to hear and see this each and every day. I don't know how much the MVP of the league can take, but if he can't take much more, he might request a trade. And if he does, the Knicks will definitely be one of the teams that's calling the trade for him. I don't know if Darrel Morey would trade with the Knicks because, again, they're a division rival, and maybe another team would have a better package, and maybe you want to trade him to the West because you don't want to see him that often. There's a lot of factors to it, but maybe the Sixers like the Knicks package more than anything else, and maybe something like that happens. Or maybe Joel Embiid does a Dame and forces his way to the Knicks by saying to Darrel Morey, I don't care where you trade me. I'm going to tell them that I'm not going to stay there long term because I only want to be in New York. Because if that happens, it changes the entire game. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But if it did, it would be really interesting. For everybody saying, why would he come to New York? There's no reason for him to come to New York. Did you know he owns property here? Oh yeah, according to Keith Pompey of the Philadelphia Inquiry, Joel already owns a house up in New York. He's had it for a while. And again, it's not the worst kept secret in the world that the New York Knicks have been looking to add a megastar to their team. And the connections between Joel Embiid and our president Leon Rose, it's a lot. So if Joel's on the table, Leon's going to call. Leon might be gifted one of the first calls with Embiid after he asks out. That's how strong of a connection I believe they have. Now, will he be a New York Knick? Again, that's up in the air. It's all about what Darrel Morey wants the most. If Joel Embiid says he wants to only go to the Knicks and he pushes Darrel Morey's hand, then we already know the situation. Darrel Morey's not going to want to look even worse in the league than he already does with the James Harden situation, so he might bend the knee in that regard. But if that doesn't happen, then I don't see Joel Embiid really headed to the Knicks. But if the trade on the table was the trade that we showed you earlier, I may not want to do that either. Again, I got to keep somebody, and I really rather keep RJ out of that deal. And if I can be even more greedy and keep Quentin Grimes out of that deal, I would too. Now, why would Joel Embiid entertain any of this? Well, Joel Embiid is known as Joel the Troll, and there's a reason for that. Why do I say that? Well, Joel Embiid recently deleted Philly from his social media account on Twitter. So if you didn't know, or if you're not following Joel Embiid on Twitter, he basically went on Twitter and deleted the Philadelphia part of his Twitter part. So if you look here on Twitter by NBA World, they basically shared what Joel Embiid did. Joel Embiid removed processing and the location Philadelphia, PA from his Twitter bio. That alone sparked another report, another article, oh yeah, and another Knicks trade scenario. Because that's all that happens when Joel Embiid does this. And he's not blind to it. He knows what he's doing. And he wants to get people talking. That's always what he chooses to do. He is a troll by all accounts and all means. But at the end of the day, he might have a bigger stage and platform in terms of where he wants to go. And New York checks and fills those boxes. That charisma that he has would be eaten alive in the most beneficial and positive way in New York. If he wants to come here, I'm all for it. And if we don't have to give up everything to get him, please, Joel, come here. Because if it's you, Brunson, RJ, and Grimes, add another player to that mix, maybe Josh Hart, I can see that team being a championship contender in the East. Joel Embiid is that impactful. Now, does this Philadelphia being removed from his account and processing being removed from his account really mean something? If it was any other player, I might say yes. But because it's Joel Embiid, no. I'm going to say no. Because Joel Embiid's a troll, so you can't really take everything he does super seriously. You have to take it with a little grain of salt. So that's what I'm doing. Love Joel Embiid. Would love him on the Knicks. Not going to gut my team to get him, though. But I would love him on the Knicks. And there's all these sources, NBA reporters, people that we love and trust, that are already reported and stated that the Knicks have inquired about Embiid. There's a number of links with the Knicks and Embiid, Leon Rose and his connection with Embiid. There's just too many things not to look at. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So maybe we're not hearing anything directly from Embiid or his camp, but sooner or later, when that last needle drops and Joel Embiid asks out, he's going to list some teams that he wants to go to. And I'm going to tell you right now, New York is going to be on the top of that list. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a comment below. Smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.